Okay, this is Wes Diskin with Barron Heating Company and BarronGreenTeam.com. We're doing a walkthrough on the Coleman Echelon 2-stage high-efficiency heat pump system. This is model 8T. This is a 3-ton unit. Here we have the Echelon communicating control with wall mount plate. This is one of my favorite controls by far. It has the most communication to the homeowner in a really nice setting. You see how it relaxes, and then just as a real basic, you just tap it to bring up all the other stuff. You'll see that it shows the fan is running. This is one of my favorite parts of this that is exclusive, is that if I put it on manual, I can slide the amount of fan percentage I want for a continuous fan. The reason why that's important, like as in the other house I was at with that furnace in the attic, you didn't get to see the control, but they have a basement where we wanted to really balance the house out, and where most controls will only give you on, which gives you low, or maybe infinity, low, medium, high. This one allows you to really dial it in to figure out what is the constant fan speed you want. Now, you only want to do this when you have your ducts sealed. You never want to run constant fan if you haven't sealed up your ducts, because then you're just throwing air to the outside. But that's one of my favorite features. So there's the control. We'll head out to the garage. So in this case, we did do a duct sealing. We insulated the attic. There was some need there. And then we put in our furnace air handler system. So we have our Honeywell media filter, always oversized for heat pump installs. So I got to come around here, trying to get the least amount of static as possible. We also changed the grill. Is on the inside for low static grills. This cabinet is actually a two-piece. You have a coil, which is this part. You have a furnace, which is that part there. They had a monster electric furnace in here. So getting that changed out, they got $1,800 in rebates. We were allowed to do a performance, whole house performance test, which in this area is, I think, still $195. But that allowed us to know, okay, if we seal the ducts, can we put in a smaller heat pump? Will the heat pump run at what speed? Where will the balance point be for the electric strip heat? And by doing that, we got the extra $300 from PSE, and just the assurance that it's going to work, period. And that had to do with sealing the ductwork, which I'll show you when we're done with the heat pump. Stay tuned for what Aerosil is capable of. It is massive reduction in duct leakage in this house. So, so there's that. I'll take you outside. This is the Coleman 8T. A little bit of a beastie. It's kind of a, I don't know what that is, a 36 by 30 or something like that. There you have it. Now, the Coleman 8T is relatively quiet for a heat pump. Now, I'm used to seeing a lot of ductless, so to me, this isn't quiet, but ductless isn't visible, so there's a fine line there. But for a residential application, we've got a house whose garage is here, and we're not too close to the master or anything like that, so it's very acceptable, and I'm real happy with it. Now, if this had to be quieter, I'd say probably an XP21 is the quietest heat pump on the face of the planet. The green speed carrier is it's uncontrollable, and because it's modulating, when it really wants to fire, it is a howling banshee. When it really needs to go up into those higher levels. So it kind of depends on what your expectations are and where you're going to place things. But so there's the Coleman 8T. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or comment or whatever. But I am more and more growing into really liking the value that the Coleman York product brings. And our distributor is amazing when it comes to products feedback and getting service and all that from them. So we've been real happy with the back end of that, which is a part of this. But like you saw in the control, I really love the Echelon control. I really like the amount of value. If you were to, say, put in a carrier green speed system, which for what it is exciting, being a modulating and all that, It's just when it comes to performance contracting, in this case, that system would have been $14,000. This one was 10 or 11, and I needed that extra money because the attic needed insulation. We needed to do the aero sealing. Those things were more important than having some super thing. So depending on budget, it's important to have that perspective and what is what's needed to get ultimately satisfaction. So coming in here, I just wanted to show you the Aerosil Report. So when we look at this, aerosealing is pretty awesome because it allows us to show improvement in real time. This customer started out at 270 CFM or 51 square inches, which is equivalent to a 7.5 by 7.5 hole in the system. Then we had an improvement to a 12 square inch hole, which is basically going to be that. Gosh, what is that? I don't know. I'm done trying to do the math, but it's like 3.5 by 3.5, or whatever. The thing with this 51 square inches is that is equivalent when the system gets pressurized to a 3 by 3 hole in the house passive. So if you were to take that 51 square inches and pressurize it, you're losing about the same as a house that just has a 3 by 3 hole in it. So when you look at Aerosil, it shows you in real time how, as the sealing happens, where we end up there. Now obviously there was something that was we weren't able to find or whatever to get down to that 2 square inches or 5 or whatever, but that's still a huge improvement at 76% reduction in duct leakage. We were able to get 12% of our fan velocity back. So a lot of times this number, when we have somebody who is not getting air to a certain part of the house, we're going to get some of that back as far as the velocity in the ductwork as the straw system, that the ducting is closed up. That air is able to be pushed further. In this case, we got 12% more push out of the blower itself. So that's the end of this. Appreciate you watching, and again, comment or email for questions.